This edition of MacVoices is supported by Linode. You can build it on Linode. If it runs on Linux, it runs on Linode. Use the code MacVoices2019 at linode.com/MacVoices to get 20% off your first order. MacVoices is at CES Unveiled in Las Vegas. I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, as always, we get to talk to Larry O'Connor, which is something I always look forward to, because, Larry, you always have some of the coolest products, and they're not some of the flashy products that might not be here next week. These are going to be here, and they're so useful and so cool.
Yes, real products and real production real people have given a lot of feedback so they can exist.
I think we just came up with a new slogan for you. Real products, real people.
That really exists, right on.
Really exists.
I like it.
So what do we have that's new this year? Because if I remember the press release, I think you said 6 new products?
We have at least 6 new products. I think we have at least 6 new products just here right now. These are all solutions that have been either released here or just released within the last couple of weeks. It's been a real busy year. Look at 2019, everything that we brought on, and all the solutions we're bringing out, and a lot more that are yet to come. Are really, really exciting.
So take us through it. What do we got?
Sure. Well, let's see. I'm going to start on this end, I think. Okay. I'll start over here just because this is, this is the multi-purpose call. For the Mac, this is the new Node Titan. That's an eGPU at 650 watts. Of course, really big video cards today, and it's not. This is really the truth. Just like not all memory is the same. Not all 650 watt power supplies are the same either. All these chassis, the chassis built to last, is built to be very easy to get into, so that in a year, 2 or 5 years, when it's time for a new GPU, that's ready to take it, and you're ready to open up and get in there without hassle or breaking things. The power supply is extremely efficient, low heat, low waste. So in addition, when I say 650 watts, I would put it up against anything that says it's 650, and we'll go, probably can't really say that exactly, but the bottom line is video cards that will work on our chassis don't work on other people's chassis that claim the same wattage. So very efficient power supply, really awesome design. It's built to last. And for folks with a Mac Mini that don't have a high-power GPU from the factory, this takes that Mac Mini and turns it into a graphics workstation. Turns it into an EV, just about everything workstation, AR, VR, you name it. Take a machine from a couple years ago where the video card might be a little bit out of date, and you want a new video card because of a codec change or a game-changing feature. That's what an eGPU does for you. It makes you don't have to buy a new Mac, not because, for the most part, processors are pretty amazing today, period. More often than not, it's the GPU that's the hang-up. And with an eGPU chassis, it's not a new Mac you buy every 1, 2, 3 years just because of a GPU technology that you need to catch up to. It's a much lower cost GPU that you don't have to buy a new chassis for. You just swap the card that's in there and upgrade and go. But I spent a lot of time on eGPU, but that's, again, to me, that's a game-changing feature in the sense that you can kind of fit the machine to what your everyday needs are. And when you need that horsepower, when you're back in the office, back at home, or you're a gamer in your dorm room, you plug in the external solutions, whether it's a fast SSD or an eGPU, and now it's a workstation.
Well, and the part I like most about it is I'm not buying it with the machine. So if I swap machines, I can change my eGPU or my machine and still have this as a piece that is useful for me.
Oh, absolutely, and that's a huge point there. For things like Adobe Creative, a lot of those applications will use multiple GPUs. So absolutely, you upgrade your machine, you still got 2 GPUs. So it's a win-win no matter how you look at it.
Okay, so that's one.
That's one. Next use our new Helios 3S. And this is, at its core is a basic PCIe chassis, so you can add PCIe cards for PCIe functionality. There's still a demand for that out there. There's still cards that people want to have, whether it's a certain 10G card or a certain audio card. You need ways to add that to Thunderbolt machines that, unlike the new Mac Pro 2019, don't have PCIe slots. But the other really cool thing with the Helios is our new U2 interchange system. Whether you're somebody who just wants a really fast NVMe SSD that is easily upgradable, or you're in a media workflow where you're doing ingest and you're collecting lots of media and you need ways to move that media quickly and be able to swap cartridges, this guy on the back now has a locking U2 NVMe SSD carrier that makes it easy to eject and swap these U2 modules, so you can ingest, duplicate, capture your job, and either use it, take those cards, ship those cartridges to somebody else who's got another one of our Helios 3S's, or take it back to base if you've got one of our new Flex 8s, which I'll talk about later, which also supports, as part of the ecosystem, the cartridge module, so you can plug it into a system with up to 8 other drives that quickly allow you to ingest that SSD and move on to high-end editing and whatever needs you can imagine for it. But great for somebody who just wants to have a U2 SSD option with their Mac, or somebody in a media workflow that needs a way to really quickly ingest data, ship that data, and then put it into other solutions that support that data, support that carrier, without a lot of headache. I mean, I like to say our stuff is, to a certain degree, boring. It's boring because it's really, really cool. You look at the features and you say all the awesome things it can do, but once you start using it, you kind of forget about it. You take it for granted because it just works. And that's the most important thing about all of our solutions. I mean, they've got to work. And they work so well, you forget about it. So we have to come to these shows and talk as much as we can to remind the world, what we've got here.
Okay, that's 2.
This is sort of new. I'll talk about our travel dock. I mean, this is new this year versus last year. It's our version 2 of our travel dock. Now, it is a real dock, and I have to emphasize that. There are lots of products on the market that call themselves docks, but they're really just glorified hubs. And what that means is somebody's thrown a bunch of chipsets inside, they've got a few ports, maybe they only have 4 ports, but they don't often work very well. And the other big differentiating factor, which is why this dock has been called, including by Ars Technica, the best dock, the best portable dock on the market, it's got true power delivery. And this is power delivery 4.0, so it's highly efficient. It maximizes the efficiency of the power it draws for the devices you connect to it. You don't have to worry about things not working when you plug it into you can use the 2 USB ports, you got HDMI on it, and then you have a UHS 4 reader. So Apple doesn't give you an SD reader anymore, so it takes care of that for you as well. But one of the most important features, the biggest differentiating feature, even if all things were equal and these other docks actually worked right, when you have a machine with Type-C, a MacBook 12-inch has a single Type-C port. The 13 inches only give you a couple. The 16 inches and the 15 inches, you get 4 of them. So that's better. But if you need to plug in and charge your device and you have other things going on where you need the other ports your machine gives you, this adds ports when you connect it in, but you can still plug your power adapter through it, and it passes up to 100 watts. So you're not just in the field. It's not just great in the field when you're bus powering it and adding those ports. When you get back to base, get back to the hotel, get back to wherever, want to keep on working, you still get all your ports because you can plug your power adapter through the travel dock. That's what power delivery is all about. That's what makes it a dock. So I'm pretty excited about this. But
I carry one of these all the time because they are so useful in so many ways, and they've saved me so many times that it's just an essential piece of equipment.
I plugged in the hubs. I mean, I've gone places and I look at some of the stuff that folks are using, and it's just hit or miss. And this guy, I mean, has literally not been around the world. I mean, go to our other locations. I mean, it's with me, and I plug in the display there. I plug in the mouse, the keyboard. Now, not very often, I have to use the reader with the SD, but I do use the reader. It just all works, and I can sit down, plug it in, and I don't have to worry about anything. And the last thing, and that's again, they get kind of boring because you forget that they're there because you just plug everything in, and that's just a dumb hub, but it's not.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess this is probably my most favorite new product of the recent year. And we're going to probably change the name because the name, I'll be honest, is kind of confusing. It's not marketing's fault. It's just we had so many new products this year. This product, somehow this name was internally being used just as a reference point, and somehow the name, apparently it stuck. But nonetheless, the Mercury Elite Pro Dock is a dual drive RAID up to 32 terabytes of storage, plus a 7-port Thunderbolt 3 dock. So it's storage for, we have our 14-port dock, so our number one selling dock. But for folks that don't need 14 ports or are looking to add storage, want to have one solution that'll charge their laptop, add a couple USB ports, give them gigabit Ethernet, give them display port for a 4K display, give them a media reader, do all these things in one solution. This guy does it, and it does it for a cost that was similar to our Thunder. We still have our Thunderbolt 2. The Elite Pro for Thunderbolt 2 is still a top-selling drive, but we've done the same for Thunderbolt 3 and added this dock. So for a lot of folks, just want to have that one drive and also need these other things. Now you get home, you plug one cable in, your mouse, your keyboard, your display, your network. Now you have a media reader because your Mac doesn't have it anymore. It's all in one place and for a really, really competitive price. So this, I personally use all these products, but this is my latest edition, and I really honestly enjoy this guy. And it's fully bootable. You got to kind of do a hack because of Apple, but we can't control that. But nonetheless, very functional storage plus a dock, and it's just a very convenient all-around product. Pro Dock for pros. This was actually through one of our acquisitions. I mean, in addition to our 14-port dock, we now have a Pro Dock that's aimed more at. Well, it's simply, I guess I'll say it this way: if you need 10G, if you're doing 10G networking, If you're working with CF cards, CFD SATA devices, just need high-speed USBs. This gives you, professional ports, professional media slots, for a wide range of, whether it's high-end enthusiasts at home or media professional, doing video production in the field. The Pro Dock covers it all, and of course it powers your laptop or system as well. So new Thunderbolt 3 dock, we try to do everything for everybody. So we have our travel dock for the real base, for on the road. We have our 7-port plus storage. We've got our 14-port dock that's got every port in the world for you, and we've got our Pro Dock, kind of geared to that media. Or somebody needs that 10G plus dock ports, because it's a lot less expensive to buy our Pro Dock, a whole heck of a lot less expensive than to buy a 10G adapter plus the ports that this guy offers. Even just the USBs to get via Thunderbolt with the speed that it offers. So then I can move on. If I had a Mac Pro 2019, which I'm still debating, I'm trying to rationalize it because I know the product inside and out, and I've been doing lots of talks to different reviewers and different guys that have our card and are trying to do different things with it, which I can talk about. But the more I talk about it, it's like, I tell them I don't have the machine, but this is how it works, and this is where you can do it. This is where you can do the software. But it's like, I really, when they encounter something that or do something unique and actually have some pretty creative, interesting performance results. Good results, I should say. It makes me want to have a Mac Pro, but this is our Excelsior Forum 2. This currently goes up to 8 terabytes. It's up to 6,500 megabytes a second. Actually, it is 6,500 megabytes a second sustained performance in a Mac Pro 2019. Plug and play, RAID 5, full, drive monitoring. A lot less than adding capacity from the factory, and over twice as fast as the factory drive. So, a really good cost point, exceptional performance, and what more can I say? This is actually, I can honestly say we're having a hard time keeping them on the shelf, because which bodes really well for Apple, because the Mac Pro is clearly doing well based on the volume of both memory and SSD, these NVMe, these Excelsiors that are flying out the door. So, the Mac Pro 2019 is an amazing machine. Despite some of the naysayers and the folks that will never buy one and would never think about buying one, the first to find things to poke at it. That is a machine that I think is going to be, that machine should be still, just like the Mac Pro 2013, which amazingly is still relevant today. It's the Mac Pro 2019, I think has a good decade in it.
That's good to hear.
Moving on, we brought the Thunder Bay 4 Mini back. This supports up to 4 2.5-inch SSDs or hard drives. This is a product that at one point, SSDs were more expensive. It was maybe economically, it didn't make as much sense to put 4 SSDs in a solution like this. But we had a lot of fans of the product. It was one of those things, as soon as we announced it was being discontinued, all of a sudden sales quadrupled on it. Pretty much literally. And it took us about a year and a half. A lot of changes were being made. We wanted to make some improvements. There's lots of, chipsets were no longer being made. We're still supporting for Thunderbolt 2. And now we have a Thunderbolt 3 version, so it's 4 drives, and Thunderbolt 3, it's about 2,000 megs a second. Thunderbolt 2 is about 1,500 megs a second. But we populated with up to 8 terabytes. You can put your own SSDs into it. 2.5-inch SSDs are cheap today, so it's very, very easy. If you want to have high performance SSDs, external, you have easy accessibility. You want to be able to swap them in and out. Do what you need when you need. It's equipped to take care of your needs today, and you can, of course, swap whatever you want in or out later. Because with software RAIDs, you can do RAID 0, RAID 1, spans, RAID 5s. However you need those drives to work, you can do it with the Thunder Bay 4 Mini. And then, of course, this bigger brother, the Thunder Bay 4, the full-size 4 drive, takes 3.5 or 2.5, and you can mix and match. On the same trays that go inside will support 2.5-inch or 3.5-inch in the full size. So you can do some pretty cool things there with RAID and mixed SSD and a hard drive setup. So, again, exceptional flexibility, performance, everything. Another brand new product, and this will be shipping, and this will just begin shipping in about 2 weeks, is our Thunder Bay 8. This is up to about 2,000 megabytes a second with SSD. It's over 1,500 megs a second with hard drives, up to 8 drives, up to 128 terabytes, just with soft RAID. There's not much more I can say other than big capacity, big performance, and really economical when it comes to what you get, what capacities you get, and performance you get in a single solution. This is the Flex 8, and I kind of talked about the Flex 8 before. This really is a media post-production editor, you name it in the video production process, their best friend. It's up to 8 drives. 4 of those drives can be SATA or SAS. The other 4 drives can be SATA, SAS, or U2 NVMe. So you have interoperability with, however you need to configure storage, what types of storage you need. The ability to put 4 U2 NVMe SAS drives inside. It comes with a CF2 reader, so it's got the new PCIe card reading technology for the new cameras and the new video cameras and even the high-end still picture cameras. It comes with built-in USB ports. There's Ethernet on the back. It docks. Now, it gives you unlimited storage options, and it also has PCIe slots in the back, which you can use for it comes with software RAID, you can do hardware RAID, you can add video, you can add other PCIe functionality, you can add 10G Ethernet, even though it has Ethernet. It pretty much is one box that gives you infinite possibilities, infinite options for what you need in your workflow. And it's all in one box, and it has an amazing media management software that does block checking and everything else, all in one great solution. So that's the Flex 8, and that'll be shipping before NAB this year. And that's again, I can't say enough things about it because there's too much to say about it. But what will be the easiest way to show it off will be the media guys that are using it and letting them explain how it's revolutionized, how it's substantially improved their workflows. And with the Helios 3S, where again you take those U2s right out of it, you got a guy that's doing his ingest in the field with U2. Now it comes out of the Helios 3S and it just slots right into the Flex 8. And your data like magic. So
very nice.
Stuff. But there's one other really cool thing that
what do we have?
Kind of ties all together. We're talking about the hardware. All this hardware. I cannot say. I really can't talk enough about the software that's beneath the hood. Hardware is obviously very, very important. It has to be built right. But the software that that supports all of these different devices, even independently of something running on a computer, is really complex and really is the sauce that makes all these solutions different from pretty much all the rest. And then in terms of different from all the rest and making sure you can use it everywhere, software on your system now supports both Mac and Windows. We're obviously a Mac guys. I'm not shy about saying that. We are Mac guys, but PC people need good hardware too. And I don't mean that in any kind of condescending way. I mean, there's a lot of... I give credit to Apple for their certifications and the requirements that they have for hardware that can be called Mac compatible, Thunderbolt compatible, works with Mac. There isn't anything like that on the PC side. So on the OWC front, everything that we build for Mac is exceptionally qualified for the PC. And software now not only is available for the PC, so you can have the same great features the software has been delivered to the Mac for about 2 decades. It also lets you interoperably move volumes between the Mac and the PC. So you can take a Thunder Bay that's been set up with software, whether it was set up on the PC or on the Mac, that same Thunder Bay now can be moved between a Mac and a PC without any extra steps, without any reformatting. You have full data accessibility and interoperability between both Mac and Windows platform for the first time. There's nothing else out there that does that with a RAID volume. And now via software, that's there. So you get all that great drive protection, all that great drive monitoring. And anybody who has a hardware solution that has smart monitoring, that smart monitoring tells you the drive should be replaced pretty much after it's already cost you problems, after there's already been hiccups and glitches and things that interfere with a workflow or normal use. Software, and I love telling this story because it's a true story, software tells you the way it monitors the drives and watches what's happening. Software is really good at telling you that a drive is heading towards a failure before it actually starts to do things that actually affect your use. So you don't see it, you're not losing data, but the drive is starting to, it looks at its characteristics, performance, whether there's rewrites, all sorts of different factors that the drive is still functional, not hurting you, but it's doing things that are indicative of a failure within, typically a 3 to 6 month span. It's pretty good about that prediction. And one of our competitors, and it's been a long day. This has been an awesome show. But I will never ever name them. But they asked, why would you put software on? Smart, is an industry standard. You might have been getting, having your system lock up for the last, 2 months without explanation. Even you take it into Apple, and Apple says everything's fine. Maybe just nuke and pave. Why would you put a piece of software with your solutions, because you populate those hard drives. It's under warranty with you guys. You're going to be replacing the drive. Why would you tell a customer while that drive was still passing smart, it might still get, it's still working, it might have another 6 months, 9 months before it really bites the dust, and then maybe it's out of warranty. Why would you tell a customer, that a drive is failing before it's actually failed? It might be out of warranty. You might not be responsible for that drive. It's like, that's not how we work.
I don't want to jump out of a plane with a parachute that is going to tell me it fails after it fails. That's not good.
That doesn't work very well for me either. And even with your RAID 5, where you can lose a drive and still not have a data issue, the whole point of soft RAID is you don't want any interruption to your data flow, and you also don't want interruption from your redundancy. If a drive does fail in a production and you're using it and you need that, and that data is important to you, and now you got to take a drive out, you no longer have that redundancy. Giving people fair warning to say, hey, you got a drive that needs to be replaced. And it's whether you got the drives from us or you populated your own drives. And it's not just a little alarm button you can silence. That's the other real, critical, fatal flaw of a lot of those systems. You can press a button and silence an alarm on most hardware RAID arrays. And you know what? We used to have those hardware RAID arrays where we had the alarm, and when we get the call from the customer? When the second drive failed, down the road. Might have been a year, might have been 3 years, it might have been a month, whatever that was. But then there's nothing you can do when you've lost 2 drives. Soft RAID, probably to almost an annoying level, every time you reboot the system, every time it comes up from sleep, in addition to having a dialog in the menu bar, says, hey, there's a drive here that really isn't healthy, you should replace it. It reminds, because your data is important. We know if it's that important to us to tell you, we got to, and you use soft RAID, we believe it's that important to you. So we make sure people know about it and get it taken care of. And you don't have that situation where it's drive number 2 that goes out for whatever reason, and then you're cooked.
Larry, a lot of great hardware and software, of course, as always. And the website, of course, is?
You can go to OWC.com today. And, of course, MacSales.com, tried and true as ever. At www.MacSales.com. Hope to see you there.
Larry, thanks. It's always a pleasure and always fun to just review some of this hardware that we don't see elsewhere on the show floor.
Probably never on the show floor here. I really appreciate it, Chuck. Thank you. I talk too much. I talk too long, but
David, it's good stuff, and people need to know about it. So,
thank you.
We'll see you back at NAB.
Fantastic.
Sounds good. Thanks so much. Take care.
Welcome. Thank you, Chuck.
Folks, we'll have more from CES in Las Vegas from Unveiled. I'm Chuck Joyner. Thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you MacVoices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.